When life takes everything from you, your job, your career, your home, your car, your wife, your family, it's hard. No doubt about that. And there are so many solutions, especially for men these days, on how they can actually recover from all those losses, their ideas, their paths that they can walk, and practices that they can do, and ideas that they can implement in their life. But oftentimes they fall into two categories. It's either let it go and go with the flow, feel whatever there is, and drown, spiral in the chaos of emotions and events that happened, or either push through and break yourself while trying to rebuild yourself. And look, there are different stages in life which require a different approach of a man. And to have a different approach to those seasons of life, you have to have a understanding and awareness of where you are in life right now. But for most of man, that takes a lot of work. It requires a lot of understanding and getting to know oneself, which of course is a must. But some men don't have the gift of time to do that, to dive deep for years into a practice or into some way of living, into a different style of lifestyle, to find who they truly are, what is their worth, and how they can move forward with new perception of life. Now, where I'm going with this is that there is a hidden map of men that exists and that we have forgotten. We danced around it. We walked by it. We saw it so many times, but we never opened it and truly allowed ourselves to view it from a different point and try to implement what is really important for men in it and extract the tool that in this modern time can help men actually truly move effectively through the challenges and through the emotions that happen in their life. Now, last year, I had one of the crazy years. It was truly a huge crisis that hit me and my family. I lost a job. We lost the home. Our apartment was filled with mold. It has started to affect our health, my wife's health, and our 1-year-old baby's health. And as I lost my job, I couldn't get back on my feet, so we had to live on the road as nomads for 3 months. And during that time, my little sis, she had a huge boat accident that cost her leg. And we didn't know if she would survive or she was in hospital or not. So my system was stretched. My family system was stretched. It was so hard to navigate all of that. And as someone who is very positive around the idea of brotherhood, having other men around you, truly doing the work and trying to find the gift in everything that happens to you, because it's not happening to you, it's happening for you and through you, I crashed. Nothing worked. Shame raised up around me not being able to provide for my family, which was heartbreaking for someone like me, a man, because one of the greatest desires, of course, that we men have is to provide, is to take care, is to nurture. And I was literally there in a position where I couldn't provide because I was wrecked. My confidence was destroyed by losing that job. My self-worth was so low, and I was not being able to find a steady ground on which I could rebuild myself. And I was so focused on those things outside of myself. So, yeah, I reached out for help. I talked to my brotherhood, to other men, who, of course, were happy to help and happy to offer some insight and advice. But hearing from them like, it's okay, it's a season, you're gonna be good, we went through similar season like where I didn't work and I for a year or two, but I understand that it's okay to find yourself in that kind of situation. But for me it was different. I was the only dad in the group, so I had a different perspective, because when you become a dad, your perspective and idea and awareness of the new responsibility, the weight of it, and someone else relying on you hits you differently when you are not a dad, when you're just in a relationship with someone and you just move through life. So for me it was very different. I didn't need another talk therapy, sharing circle. I didn't even need to push through, because whenever I would push through and try to bring myself up again, I would fall down into tiredness and I would just collapse. My body couldn't handle any more stress. So every time when I would have like a hit of energy and try to do something and get disciplined and try to push and see the light on the other side, I would totally crash. So that period of my life, I was a wreck. I was struggling with my inner critic. My self-worth was so low. I couldn't understand if I had something worthy and something of value to truly give to others. And I felt like I don't matter. I saw the world, the God, as someone who is just laughing at me and like saying like, this is your role in life. You're destined to fail. You're destined to, struggle all the time. And I started to accept it as the truth. I started to talk to myself like I'm, someone who is in a really low state. Like, I'm so dumb, I deserve this. This is what I get, And it was so fucking disastrous, especially for my wife to witness that, because she was always very supportive. And for her to experience me in this season of life where I experienced this huge crisis was heart-wrenching for her. And I'm so blessed and I'm so grateful to have her with me still after that season, because I was so horrific. I would get easily distracted, easily reactive. One moment I would spiral in the emotions, feel like shit, cry, not know how to get up. And then the other moment I would just have such a reactive burst of angry expression and say things, yell things that didn't sound like me. So through this, I started to understand most of the things that they teach us today are not working for us men. Because, like I said, either pushing through or spiraling into the inner work without solid foundation, it just destroys a man. But there is something that I discovered. It's like a map, a hidden map that was there throughout the whole existence of a man. And it goes way back when the old initiations were still active. We don't have them so much today. Yes, there are places that you can do that. But the old ones were designed to actually awaken the specific things in a man in a specific order for him to move through different stages of it and mature and grow in the inner strength and build that inner architecture where he can always rely on himself and trust in himself to move through the challenge and to move and do the things that he has to do, to tap into that aligned action behind the chaos. So the first layer of the map is, of course, detection. They would release the kids into the wilderness when they would do these initiations. They would let them to go alone. And of course, they would just sense, and I say kids, but it's young men, they would sense that something is different, something is wrong, something is not as they used to be. So their body would immediately know that there's some uncomfortable things that are happening and are going to happen to them. And through that, as they started to realize they were alone in the woods, the emotions would start to rise. The fear, the anxiety, the, maybe even anger, or like some emotions would come up to them, and they would have to sit with it alone. So they were forced to be in solitude. They were forced to be alone in that situations with whatever would come up. We always focus so much on the things that they did, the action they do, where they kill an animal or they survive the woods for 7 days or whatever, but it's the emotions that first came up. So they would have to be with that and learn how to contain it so it doesn't take over them, so it doesn't take control of their being, meaning they had to breathe, they had to become more aware of their surroundings, they had to ground where they are. And after that, of course, there was a process of what I like to call dojo, which is they would find something to do with their hands, with their body. So they would realize, okay, maybe I need a weapon to protect myself, maybe I need to build a shelter, maybe I need some tools to, gather some food or whatever. So they will use their hands to create something, do something, which would immediately put them in a state where they were so focused on doing something with their body or with their hands that whatever thought would come up, it would just pass through. But those that were really, like those insights, he would be able to catch them. And those insights, those really aligned thoughts or ideas or visions that would come, he would have to catch on them. And through the process of actually doing something with his hands and catching those ideas, gaining clarity on his next steps, he would also build the inner strength to move through the next step, which is taking the aligned action. So he would then actually, as he rebuilt his inner fire, he would then have to make a choice and go and do something that is aligned with him in that moment. So if an animal would come, he would have to go out there and kill the animal, because he would know that killing this animal would actually give him access back to the tribe and he would be accepted. So he would go out and do the action. Now with more confidence in himself and more capable, because he's more aware and more in tune with his senses, but also his male instincts. Now, of course, after the action would be done, he would come back and everybody would greet him. But now it's the process of where he has to rest, where he has to recover, eat some food, put some clothes on, recover, in the tribe that would nurture him, give him a tea or whatever, I don't know. And in the process of rest, of course, more emotions would come up, because now these emotions that would come up unhealthy way, where he would actually not just feel them and cry through them or push them or whatever. He would actually, in his inner world, he would sense where they belong now and what part of his psyche and his biology is actually evolving and maturing. He would sense literally within his body as the capacity to handle more stress and bigger challenges is growing. And that is also called the integration in a way, because after the rest, he would go out there to the other men in the village and he would share the experience. He would maybe rely on them. He would maybe ask them for some guidance, or he would guide others through the shared wisdom and insights that he gained. And as he would continue life, he will always remember those things, and he would act with some new level of maturity and responsibility and the way of that he leads himself through life. Now, this is the map that we can still apply today. We don't have to, of course, go out in the wilderness, kill animals and that kind of way, which, has its benefits, and there are places where you can do that, go through that kind of initiation. But for us, man, today, we have forgotten who we are. We have been taken away from our natural male instincts, and we have been told that we are toxic, that we are dangerous, that we are not right, that we bring no value, that we don't matter. All of that influences man. So a man needs to find a way to rebuild that inner strength. And this map is the key, because in everyday life, something can happen that can cause your body, your senses to see and sense what is happening in the world, whether it's danger or it's just hard conversation or it's whatever there is. But you can still navigate those harder things through this process. Sometimes this process will be longer and it would require more repetition of this map, and sometimes it will be so short that you wouldn't even need this map to build your strength to face it. Now, all of this can sound a little bit woo-woo and out there, but if you want a really practical way of actually rebuilding your strength and moving through your challenges and truly building trust in yourself and regaining that sense of your own worth, your own value that you give to this world, tap the link below and join my free 7-day email course, where every day I will guide you through a specific stage that will help you awaken your instincts, get aligned with your true self and what matters to you, what are your values, and act and lead in a way that is in the best service of who you are, what you're creating in this world, and the people around you.